Here's the live stream here now. Okay, so yes, great. Javan, we are live. I'm not too sure. Okay. Yes. So why we can't see you? Let me just figure that out. Okay, so maybe as soon as you start talking, then your screen will come up. Good morning, everybody. Absolutely excited that you are all there. I hope you are able to hear me and see me. This time I thought we'd do it a little bit differently. I invited a guest. Javan is a business rescue practitioner, and he will be able to explain why, when you need one, and why you, if you are in trouble, definitely should ask for business plan rescue. Yes, thanks very much, Javan. It's your show time now. He prepared a lovely presentation. If you have any questions, just feel free to comment on the side or under this video, and we definitely will then be able to answer them afterwards. Okay.
Great. Thank you very much, Dagmar, and thank you for hosting us. I'll share my presentation. If you can just kindly let me know whether you can see it on your end.
Yes, it's working.
Great, great. Okay, so my name is Javan Cloete. I'm a business rescue practitioner, and I'm one of the directors at Boutique Advisory. And Dagmar has collaborated with us to, discuss business rescue. What are the fundamentals of business rescue? And so the purpose of this presentation is just basically to give a high-level overview of what business rescue is, when to apply for it, how to go about it, or how a company goes about it, and what are the benefits of business rescue. Okay. So at the outset, I think it's important to discuss what is the difference between business rescue and a liquidation. So business rescue and liquidation have fundamentally different objectives. Liquidation, the objective is to permanently end the company, whereas business rescue, the objective is to save the company. The famous example is given where a patient is brought into ICU versus where the patient is already dead. So liquidation in that example would be where the patient is already dead, or the person is already dead in the hospital. There's no prospect of saving the life of the patient, and so the only option for the company in that instance would be to liquidate. Business rescue, the objective there is to save the company. So there is a reasonable prospect that exists for the company to continue operating. However, there's certain circumstances such as financial distress that prevents this from happening. Business rescue also, from a cost perspective, liquidation costs and fees far exceed those of a business rescue. This is an accepted fact, and a successful business rescue therefore benefits creditors, employees and shareholders, and obviously the economy at large, because it provides a better return to these stakeholders and affected people. So business rescue is actually a valuable tool for directors of an ailing business. So let's discuss what is business rescue. Okay, business rescue is governed by the Companies Act. It's a legal proceeding with the aim of saving a financially distressed company. We'll discuss what is financially distressed in a moment, but the saving of the company, or business rescue as it were, basically involves and provides for the temporary supervision of a company and its management of its affairs, its business and its property. And a temporary moratorium, in other words, a temporary suspension on the rights of any claims brought against the company. And these include legal claims, development and implementation of a plan. So there's a formal business rescue plan that is approved and voted on by the creditors and the affected persons, or rather by the creditors, sorry, to rescue the company by restructuring its affairs in a way that maximizes the likelihood of survival to obtain a return that is better than liquidation. The benefits is creditors, employees, unions, and shareholders of a company. Those are the affected persons as defined. How is a company placed into business rescue? Well, essentially, there are two ways. First, it may happen via voluntary application by the directors of a company, or via court application by an affected person, or where a creditor brings an application to court to place the business into business rescue. So voluntary application. Okay, so let's discuss this a little bit more. If a company is financially distressed and there is a reasonable prospect of rescuing the business, then the board of directors should consider placing the company into business rescue. It's not a must, but they should consider. If the company is financially distressed and the board decides not to place the company into business rescue, they must file a notice to every affected person of the company. So a director's resolution is required to initiate the business rescue process. Business rescue practitioner must be appointed within 5 business days of the resolution being adopted and publish a notice of the resolution to every affected person. Under a court application, here it's a little bit different because a creditor may apply to a court, okay, to place a business into business rescue. And the affected persons, as I mentioned, could be a creditor, could be an employee, would also be considered a creditor in certain circumstances, a shareholder or a trade union. Okay, they make the application to court. The court must be satisfied that the company is actually financially distressed. Okay, so it's not an automatic thing on applying to court. The court must be satisfied that the company is financially distressed. The company failed to pay an amount in terms of a contract or failed to pay an amount that is just and equitable, and there's a reasonable prospect for rescuing the company. Financial distress, this is a material term that affects business rescue. And just to indicate what is financial distress, okay, the liquidity and the solvency requirements of a company are key to be considered here. So financial distress is when it is reasonably unlikely that a company will be able to pay its debts when they fall due. And the Companies Act gives a window as to when that when that would be possible, or when that would be measured and considered. And that would be in the immediate 6 months. So within 6 months, if the company is unable to pay its debts as they fall due, that company is classified as being in financial distress. Another definition is where the company is insolvent, also within the immediate 6 months. And insolvency basically means where the liabilities of a company exceed the assets. So what are the director's duties and the director's obligations when trading under these circumstances, or when these circumstances in business actually exist? The Companies Act states that a company must not carry on a business with the intention to defraud any person or to trade within or under insolvent circumstances. This is classified as reckless trading in terms of the Companies Act. That's section 22. Section 76 of the Companies Act also says that there's specific duties on the directors of companies to act in the best interest of the company at all material times. So the question is, does trading in financial distress circumstances, is that acting in the best interest of the company? Would the directors be acting in the best interest of the company if they are trading in financially distressed circumstances? And would there be an intention to defraud creditors if the company is trading under financially distressed circumstances? The answer to those questions is yes. So directors have a specific duty to act under these circumstances where a company is financially distressed. And should they not act, there's also a risk of them being held personally liable for the losses of the company. I think that's quite a material aspect to consider, you know, where directors can be held personally liable for the losses of the company if they are trading in financially distressed circumstances. It can be proven that, you know, there's an intention to defraud. Okay, there's an intention to misappropriate. There's an intention to not act in the best interest of the company, and that goes against the legal duties and obligations of a director in terms of the Companies Act. So business rescue, in summary, is, you know, investigates the affairs of the company soon after the business rescue practitioner is appointed, and the practitioner needs to determine whether there is a reasonable prospect for the company to be saved. There needs to be a reasonable prospect. If there's no prospect of the company being saved, okay, the practitioner needs to inform the court and all affected persons. At that stage would be then terminated. The practitioner convenes a meeting with its creditors and the employees 10 business days after being appointed, just to give you an indication of the timing of these engagements. And that meeting basically serves to inform them whether he believes that there is a reasonable prospect for rescuing the company. A business rescue plan, which is a formal published document, that document or plan is developed. It has a specific structure that the Companies Act requires, background as to the financial distress of the company, the proposals, the assumptions, and the conditions that goes into the business rescue engagement. This plan is published within 25 days after the practitioner is appointed. And then 10 business days after the plan is published, that plan needs to be voted on and approved by creditors. And to give an indication of how many creditors and the voting process, 75% of the creditors' voting interest must approve the business rescue plan. And at least 50% of those creditors must be independent. So the business rescue implementation may span over roughly about 3 months, or it may be extended as the case may be. There may be specific reasons for delaying the plan, you know, with creditors and having to approve the plan. And in these circumstances, the business rescue plan may be extended over 3 months or for a period greater than 3 months. It's important to note, though, that the success factors or the key success factors of a business rescue is the introduction of new funding, to have the access to finance. Those are crucial to the success of a business rescue engagement, or that post-commencement finance. Oftentimes, a company's overdraft is suspended. You know, it's a cash and delivery basis with some of its creditors, and agreement and negotiation needs to come into place with these stakeholders and affected persons for the business rescue. And without these forms of funding, additional funding lines, that'll enable the company to continue trading and operating. Those aspects are key to the success of a business rescue. Another success factor is the quality of the business rescue practitioner. That is crucial to the success of a business rescue proceeding. The practitioner's duty is to balance the rights of all stakeholders. So the assessment as to whether a company can actually be saved or not is very crucial to balancing the rights of all these stakeholders. And by stakeholders, I mean affected persons, creditors, employees, and shareholders. Business rescue is mainly a creditor-driven process, and the creditors have the most influence over business rescue, given that the business rescue plan requires at least creditors vote. Thank you, Dagmar, and to all your viewers. Yes, I'm not sure if there are any questions from
Yes,
yours.
you're still on. Go on. Javan, thanks very much for the presentation. What I wanted to do is I want all of the entrepreneurs out there be aware of their duties. Okay. And I'm also sure that lots of entrepreneurs yes, self-employed don't know about these rules and regulations, that they need to declare that they are in trouble. Okay, so, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted you to do this, Javan, so that people know. Okay, number one is, okay, so I need to declare that I have some financial challenges. But on the other side, and that is difficult for lots of entrepreneurs, that there is help out. Okay, and that the business rescue practitioner, it's not the end of the rope. They are more like a coach consultant on your side, because their job is really to make sure that this business gets a turnaround strategy and then carries on. Because that is the intention of this. It's not to bash somebody and say you did a shitty job and now go home. It is more there, and I know that. I'm always explaining that I started a couple of different companies. I sold some of my companies. You are in a small little box, you know, and if somebody with fresh eyes now comes from outside and says, you know, there are some solutions out there. With this, you're even able to apply for funding. There are some funding instruments out there to help you, support you, because government, what do they want? They want that the company stays alive, thrives, and that all the jobs are safe. Okay, so this is the intention, and that's why I thought it would be lovely to have you here on a Monday morning. Just share this information and show, yes, there's help out there. You are not alone, and specifically now with COVID, and then we had in some instances even some unrest, puts lots of pressure onto businesses. There are some, in any case, some funds available, but this is also an additional support you can ask for. Let me just see, somebody wants to be in contact with us. Yes, so if you have any questions, feel free just to write in the comments, please. You can, of course, either way contact Javan directly if you want to. You can also, the easiest way always for all of you is go on to Facebook Messenger, drop us a message. Brent will then be able to guide you and get you in contact if it's a specific question for Javan. Fortunate, very lovely to see Dagmar, looking great, my mentor and guide. Oopsie, yes, thanks very much, Fortunate. Great, okay, so if you need some information, just feel free to get in contact with the two of us. There is help out there if you have some challenges, if you have some trouble, to support your business, to make sure that you get some deals also with your debtors and creditors. So just to make sure you are able to carry on, and after this intervention then to thrive. Anything from you, Javan?
Yeah, I think you hit a few nails on the head there, Dagmar, so thank you for that. Yeah, I think business rescue is essentially a valuable tool that can be used for an ailing business. You know, it shouldn't be seen as, you know, the owner of a company or the directors of a company throwing in the towel. It's actually a lifeline that could save potentially a business and save jobs in the economy. So yeah, we're looking forward to engaging further with you and with your viewers, and please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or comments.
Okay, let me just have one more look if there's anything in there. I do that here on my phone. That makes it's the easiest way. No, there's nothing in there at the moment. Okay, so I know it's a totally different topic. Like I said, we want to make sure that everybody understands all the angles and being compliant here with their business. Thanks very much, Javan, for this lovely presentation. And the two of us, we are definitely keeping in contact. And if you have any other questions and you want to contact us in person, use Facebook Messenger first. Brent will then forward me the messages, and then we can see how we can assist. Okay, Javan, thanks very much for your Monday morning. And I wish, like I always do, everybody an absolutely successful new week.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Pleasure. Bye, Javan.